Welcome. I'm Anna Bajomi, PhD candidate in urban planning, policy and design at the Polytechnic University of Milan. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to introduce you my paper that I wrote recently on the energy poverty related chapters of the Hungarian National Energy and Climate Plan. I'm analyzing in my PhD research how Hungarian policies are able to exploit potential of energy transition in terms of energy poverty alleviation, and this paper was written in the frame of this research. First, I identify key issues of energy poverty. This will be followed by the analysis of the NECP's energy poverty related chapters through goals, targets, and instruments. I will draw some policy lessons and finally outline some recommendations to ameliorate the NECP's chapters. I use incomes, energy prices, energy efficiency, and energy use throughout my analysis as a guiding framework. Energy poverty in Hungary is characterized by low incomes compared to the European average, and even though incomes have been increasing in the last decade, it was followed by an increase in income inequalities as well. Energy costs has been increasing in Hungary since 1990 until a utility price cut measure was introduced in 2013 that reduced the prices of utilities. Though the price of solid fuels, especially of firewood, was not affected by this measure. Therefore, it still continues. Solid fuels are predominantly used by low-income households in Hungary, as we will see later. The population having difficulties in paying their bills in time was increasing until 2013 when it reached its peak at 25%. Since then, it's decreasing, but still in 2019, 10% of the population had arrears in utility bills, which is 1.5 times higher than the EU average. And as firewood is widespread among low-income households, but it is not a utility, the problems relating with the affordability of solid fuels is not represented in these statistics. Energy efficiency is also a key problem in Hungary, as 70% of the residential building stock does not reach modern technical and thermal requirements. And beside efficiency, there are also several quality issues. Population, nearly more than a fifth of the population live in a dwelling with a leaking roof, damp walls, or other serious quality issue. An early third of children grow up in such deteriorated housing conditions. Energy use in the home is, as I already said, characterized by solid fuel use in the lower income groups and gas usage in higher income groups. In the poorest income quintile, nearly 40% of use individual solid fuel heaters, and mostly metal stoves that can be seen on the left side of the picture that have quite bad thermal characteristics, are inefficient and create important air pollution. The tiled masonry stove on the right side was traditionally used, but were changed to other devices in the last decades. Even though they have good thermal, they are heating up the room and then spreading the heat evenly. They are more efficient and create significantly less pollution than the metal stove, though they are not as widespread in the low income groups. Policies and measures between 2010 and 20 were related to energy, were mostly targeted to the middle class, increased inequalities, and issues of energy efficiency and solid fuel heating remain marginal. So in the NECP, there are two chapters that are focusing on energy poverty. The first aims to outline objectives, and the second, policy measures. The Hungarian NECP aims to maintain sustainable overhead costs for Hungarian households. It outlines an indicator to measure the success of policies, though it does not provide an objective and neither a time frame. Targets of the document seem reasonable, but there are no analysis provided why these targets have been selected, what are their characteristics and needs related to energy poverty. Instruments related to the four key determining factors are also quite weak. Low incomes are not tackled by the measures in this document. High energy prices are the most central topic of policies related to energy poverty, but part of the measures are not elaborated at all, so it is not known what policies will include. Price of solid fuels and indebtedness is not addressed among these measures. Energy efficiency is only addressed by cynically weak and partial measures. There is no retrofit program outlined, and there is no reference to the long-term renovation strategy or its chapter on the renovation of the worst performing building stock. Energy use is partially covered by measures, though issues related to solid fuel heating are not articulated, and majority of measures are short-term or marginal. So incomes and energy efficiency related problems are not addressed, while energy price related problems are partially, and energy use related problems are weakly addressed in the document. So it fails to comply with the requirements of setting objectives. The time frame for energy poverty alleviation, its policies and measures are superficial. There are no details on target groups and no guarantees for implementation, such as source of funding or responsible body for the implementation. So the Hungarian NECP can be seen as a policy formulation process in terms of energy poverty, as it's the first document that outlines concrete energy poverty related measures in Hungary. Though it's a result of international pressure rather than the voluntary lesson drawing activity of Hungary. The enforcement from the part of the EU only contains soft measures, and as the Hungarian current policy environment goes totally against energy poverty alleviation objectives, there is a high risk that energy poverty tackling objectives will remain intact, and in the current state of the NECP remains the same. Therefore, it is important to establish in the document energy poverty related targets and the time frame, include policies and measures that cover root causes of energy poverty, and to identify target groups that based on the analysis of energy poverty. And furthermore, it would be highly necessary to include further information on policies and measures that guarantee and future implementation of them. And as a next step, I would like to analyze entry points for policy and amelioration regarding the National Energy and Climate Plan. Thank you for your attention. And please do not hesitate to ask questions. If you have any, you can contact me on my email. Have a good time.